partners with the Mar Elias School in Galilee for years now, and it's part of our commitment as a global mission church and at being intensely local, intentionally global. So working with our partners here in Fort Wayne for justice and peace, and also around the world, including Israel and Palestine. So we're very blessed to be here and to be able to host so many of the Indian Center for Middle East Peace events. So we hope that you find this to be a uplifting and inspiring event and talk, and we look forward to seeing you at future events. Again, welcome to Brooklyn Congregational Church. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pastor Timothy is the senior pastor here, and my pastor, and Michael Spath as well, who is in Israel and Palestine right now as we speak tonight. Otherwise, he would certainly be here for his and our dear friend, Abuna Elias Chacour, Archbishop of the Galilee. I asked a couple people, and Ron, it looks like you're the first one up. If you would just introduce the topic for May 30th, I think it is, the next event. So if you want to, would you rather do it from there? I can give you the handheld.
No, I'm kind of showy. I'd rather get afterward.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Ron Caldwell, one of the board members of Indiana Center, and it's been a pleasure. This is like the, fourth time now I've been honored to be in Abuna Chacour's presence, pick up his book, Blood Brothers. It was one of the 2 or 3 books that I read before going to Palestine with Michael for my first life-changing event there in 2012. And it was, meeting Abuna was what I was looking forward to the most on the trip in 2012. But before that, Michael pulled one out of his hat like he did, and we met Dawood Nassar at 10th Nations. It wasn't on the schedule, and I was just overwhelmed by Dawood, and I thought, now we're going to go to Abuna's later, and it'll be kind of a letdown. It was not a letdown, and it hasn't been even every time I've had the opportunity, now 3 or 4 times. He was at our gala speaker a few years ago. Sorry, Terry, you didn't know I was going to be doing all this. I'm just ad-libbing along here.
Yeah, okay.
You didn't give me this assignment, but I wanted to express my admiration for Abuna. He's just a wonderful person. And so what I was really asked to talk about is a lot of virus stuff going around in my house and so forth. This is why my wife's not here. Janet Stevens was supposed to be here. Janet and Todd listened to me for about 4 or 5 years talk about Israel and Palestine until their eyes would roll up in their heads. And they finally went with us last September on their first trip with Michael. And so Janet was going to do what I'm been asked to do. And so on Thursday, May 30th, at the Clyde Theater, I've never had the opportunity to go there yet for a concert venue, so I would recommend that you come. 7 o'clock, it says doors open, 7:30 show for something called The Brilliance. And they were brought to Fort Wayne a couple years ago by Josh Van Gooten, a young man that actually went on the trip with us also in September. They were here 2 years ago and they're back. And they're fantastic. And this is brought to you by the Neighborhood Christian Legal Clinic, which Janet Stevenson's a lawyer, and Janet's on their board, very active. And it's sponsored, it says, by Sweetwater, Arts United, Amplified, and Rothberg, Logan, Warsko. And also Indiana Center has a small function, a small part of it. It says here on my cheat sheet that this is David Gungor is the guitar player and vocalist and writer, and John Arndt is a keyboard player. And it says Their genre-defined musical collective, known as the Brilliants, creates beautiful, stirring, provocative live shows, carefully crafted to offer a vision and sound of peace and renewal in a world where hate is the language. And I looked up, I didn't know I had this to go from, so I just looked up Wikipedia. It said they create art that inspires empathy. They invite you to step outside yourself. It'd be perfect to be here tonight with Abuna, because it's Abuna's message too. They invite you to step outside yourself, to see the world through the eyes of the other, the stranger, those you may consider your enemy. And they're on the right side of this issue. They've been to Palestine and they have beautiful YouTube, look it up. Their song Yahweh, look up the YouTube. I just looked at it again, it's 5.5 minutes, and it shows the backdrop as they sing the song is all Palestine, Jerusalem, Old City. It shows the wall. It's a beautiful, beautiful video. So Yahweh, look it up on YouTube. They'll be here Thursday, May 30th. Tickets are available, it says through Wooden Nickel, ClydeTheater.com, Sweetwater Sound, and again, it's to particularly benefit Janet. It's one of Janet's passions of the Neighborhood Legal Christian Legal Clinic, which does a lot of work for immigration, legal work for immigrants. Thanks.
Thanks, Ron.
And I asked Sam Jarger, another board member, to make a few comments. While he's coming up, I'll just preface his comments to say that he'll be telling you about Arab Fest, which was a festival that was launched by Indiana Center 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And Sam started a nonprofit corporation, Arab Fest Fort Wayne. He's also started a nonprofit corporation, Fort Wayne for Refugees. But if you just tell them about the upcoming event.
Thank you. Hi everybody, as Terry said, my name is Sam Jarjor. I'm on the board of the Indiana Center for Middle East Peace, and I don't think it's fair to say that I started the nonprofit Arab Fest. A bunch of dedicated volunteers have started it. And anybody who's been involved in a festival planning or putting on a festival knows how much work that is. So a lot of props go to the people who put this on. So we invite you to Headwaters Park, June 1 and 2 for Arab Fest 5. This year is going to be very special. We have, as Terry said, a formal committee with a great entertainment budget. We will be celebrating Arab culture. It's a non-political event. Everybody is welcome. It's free to the public. It's family friendly. And being good Arabs, we celebrate food culture. There'll be a lot of food. There's also going to be music and camel rides and a souk or a market with all kinds of artisan and nonprofit vendors, characters, and dancing. So please come. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Well, and then it's my pleasure, really, to introduce Abuna Chacour, retired now, the Archbishop of the Galilee region. Rather than spend a lot of time on an introduction, I want to just ask, how many of you may have visited Galilee, Mar Elias? Okay, well tell your neighbor, those who haven't visited, what you experienced. It was beautiful. A school of Arabs and Muslims, Christians, Druze, and Jews all in one place, learning together. And Abuna Chacour has many stories to tell. And I would just like to, with that, invite Abuna, Father Chacour, to come on up and just welcome him here to Plymouth Church. And then after he's made his remarks, I have a wireless mic and we'll entertain some questions. So.
thank you for coming. Thank you for wanting to spend some time listening to a person who is completely unknown. I wonder what could I say this evening. I think the best thing is that I introduce myself to you. I'm not a politician. I understand very little in politics. I am a man of God. I'm not a theologian. I'm not a philosopher. I'm a storyteller. I repeat telling the story of my champion, the man of my country, Jesus Christ. If any among you came to see how I will criticize Israel, he will be disappointed. I'm not here to criticize Israel. I wish Israel a long life. I wish Israel a better justice. Who am I? I am a Palestinian, a proud Palestinian. I have nothing to be ashamed of for being Palestinian. And I am a Palestinian Arab. That means my mother language is this very easy to learn Arabic language. I see your smiles and you remind me that you are Americans. You're not very well known for knowing languages. Didn't you have even a president who could hardly speak correct English? George W. Bush. We don't blame you for not knowing languages.
Oh, he has one.
I have been fortunate to
Just leave it
learn
there.
11 languages. I wish I could have learned some more when my memory was still fresh and could register. But now I'm fighting to keep what I have. And I am not successful. I start forgetting. I'm 80 years old. I'm a Palestinian Arab. That's okay for you. There's a cohesion between Palestinian and Arab. Who is the Palestinian in your press, my dear brother and sister? Isn't he a terrorist? I am the terrorist, the Palestinian. And the Arab, isn't he a Muslim? And the Muslim must be born bloodthirsty, inclined to violence. So a terrorist with a bloodthirsty, that goes together, they're the same family. That goes against the reality. I am not a terrorist. I have no bombs. I never believed in any violence. Strongly because I was victim of violence since my childhood. Far from believing in terror, I believe in self-sacrificing for saving the life of my enemy even. This is what I learned from Jesus Christ. I don't hide that. Palestinian Arab, I am also a Palestinian Arab Christian. You wonder how comes that you, Palestinian Arab, you are a Christian. When have you converted to Christianity? It's true. I thank God because I was not born Christian. I was not. I don't know what about you good Americans. Were you born Christians or Muslims, or you were like me, I was born a baby. But not any baby. A baby with birth certificate. I was created on the image and with the likeness of God Himself. Not more, but not less either, please. I converted to Christianity not long ago. It's 2,000 plus some years ago. When my compatriot, Jesus Christ, the only missionary who came to our country and was able to make an impact that is still lasting, it's because of his courage, his faith, his power, his belief in human beings that I converted and became a follower of Jesus Christ. I'm proud of that. I will continue like that to the end of my life. And I cannot stop telling the story of my compatriot, Jesus Christ. I try to make that story my own life. The first Christian community was born in Jerusalem from 120 men gathered around Mary, the mother of Jesus. They were all people from Galilee. Galilee where I live now. And we people of Galilee are very stubborn. We don't follow anyone who comes and proposes something new. But when Jesus came, we were unable to resist. He was so attractive. He was so true. He was thoroughly loving the poor, the sick, the marginalized, and we followed him. Today, my dear brothers and sisters, there's a remnant of Christianity in the Holy Land. Inside Israel, there are 150,000 Palestinian Christians still living there. We represent only 25% of Palestinian Christianity. What about the rest, the 75% of Christians? When they were expelled, deported, evicted in 1948, when the State of Israel was created, and they are still the refugees scattered around the Middle East. Many of them were able to immigrate to your country and became American citizens. Others live in Europe. But the majority is living in refugee camps. $150,000 Palestinian Christians inside Israel. They were not born in Israel. It is Israel that was born in them. 1948, Israel was created. That is 71 years ago. But prior to the creation of Israel, there was something in Palestine. They did not create Israel and created Israel with them, the land of Israel. They came to a land called Palestine. And with utmost power and cruelty, they evicted all the Palestinians and took their place, took their country, and renamed Palestine as being Israel. They were not able to evict all the Palestinians. A small remnant of Palestinians was able to stay in or around their destroyed villages and towns. And now there are 1,500,000 Palestinians, citizens of Israel, including the 150,000 Palestinian Christians. Israel was created in 1948, not so peacefully in fact. How can that be peacefully when they replaced the local population with people who came from Europe, from America, from Africa, from everywhere in the world, claiming that that is their native country? Oh, that reminds me, when I was acting Archbishop in Haifa, the President of the State of Israel decided to come and visit me 1 week before Christmas, wishing me and the Christians happy Christmas. The President of the State was Shimon Peres. he came in, to make a long story short, and I had to address him words of welcome. I said to him, I am very happy, very honored, very pleased to welcome you in our Archbishopric in my quality of a refugee deportee from the village of Barham. I remind you the village of Barham was destroyed by the Israeli army, but the Barham people are still alive and they are waiting to return to their village. Then the president interrupted me saying, Your Grace, when you left Barham, you were a young boy, it was long, long, long ago, and you still remember that Barham is your native place? When are you going to forget that Barham is your native village? At that time I got nervous. I said to him, Mr. Perez, you left Palestine 2,000 years ago, evicted by a Roman leader, not by a Palestinian leader. And you were in diaspora. You always remember that Palestine is your native country, and you're coming back to reduce our life into a misery. Tell me please, when are you going to forget that Palestine is your native country? He answered one word. He answered one word, touché. Those who do not know what means touché, it's a French word that means you hit the target. I don't want to hit the target. I want to return home. My father had one dream in his life, to return back to his native village, to build his ancestral home that was destroyed by the army, and to die in his village. He died in 1992. We transported his body and we buried him beside mother in our native village in the cemetery of Barham. If you come to visit me, we can go and see that cemetery. It's a pilgrimage place for us. Please do not think that I am preaching anything against Israel. I love Israel. It's not the existence of Israel that makes problem to me. It's rather the qualities of that existence. The Jewish people wanted freedom of expression, home, homeland. And who is entitled to provide them with these needs? The United Nations? The United States would be the least to be entitled to do that. These are qualities that are given, God-given qualities to every human being. And the Jews are but human beings. The problem started when the freedom they wanted meant that I lose all kind of freedom. When the home they wanted, that I remain without any home, homeless. When the country they wanted meant that I become a refugee with no passport, no status. I am a refugee status. How can one accept that deal? The problem between the Palestinians and the Israelis is not a religious problem. Judaism against Christianity against Islam. No way, it has never been so. The problem is not a racial problem either. Semites against non-Semites. And we are more Semite than the Jews, my dear brothers. So what is the problem? It's a territorial problem. The Jews wanted the territory of Palestine for them. And the Palestinians were hanging to that territory for thousands of years as well. And now, we commit the mistake on both sides. The Jews say the land belongs to us. The Palestinians reply, no, the land belongs to us. And in my view as an archbishop, as a Palestinian, I declare that the land cannot belong to the Jews. And it cannot belong to the Palestinians. It's the responsibility of both Palestinians and Jews to learn how they should belong to the land, not how the land belongs to them. I'm repeating only what Isaiah has said in his first 5 chapters. Woe to those who confiscate one piece of land after the other, who join one home to the other, till they believe that the land belongs to them. No, says the Lord, the land cannot belong to them. They will be kicked out, naked as when they born from their mother. We don't want them to be kicked out. We want them to understand that we also belong to the land. We also want to build that land together. I want them to understand, whether they like it or not, we are condemned to the same destiny. Either we die together, God forbids, or we live together, hopefully. Palestinian, Arab, Christian. In Galilee, we had often the impression that we are forgotten, ignored minority. Nobody cares for us. There's not so many Michael Spath in the world. He's a kind of miracle of courage. We needed always to build contact, to build trust with other Christians, other Europeans, other Americans. We want them to come and see us. We want them to come and share the little things we have, to share a meal, to share some time, to share coffee. I don't advise you, if you go to Palestinian homes, to drink too much cups of coffee. You will lose your sleep. I used, when I became priest, to visit many homes in the parish, and I drank at least 15 cups of coffee every day. I lost the sleep, and I decided that I will never drink coffee anymore. Till I came to America, and I appreciate your coffee, I drink it, but not too much. Palestinian, Arab, Christian, I am also a citizen of Israel. I look like a walking contradiction. I'm very faithful to my citizenship. I'm proud to travel with Israel passport. Although I'm not a citizen like the Jews are citizens, I'm citizen number 2. I think I have passport. Yeah, if anyone wants, I can show you. I am 02, while the Jew is 01. I have nothing against being 02. If we all are 02. And if the Jew insists to be 01, good for him. I have nothing against becoming 01. What frightens me a lot is, as long as we are 01 and 02, we might prepare for our mutual annihilation, and that I don't want. I am a citizen of the state of Israel. Second-class citizen. No, since a year I'm no more second-class citizen. I'm a tolerated human being in Israel. With the new law they voted, the nation-state law, Israel is for the Jews. I don't know how long they can sustain that, but it's a very dangerous pretension. I was born in Galilee to a Christian family. My father never believed in any violence. We were kicked out from our native village. My father encouraged my brothers never to use any violence, not verbal, not physical either. But he did not stay quiet. He convinced all the heads of families who remained to join in raising funds from themselves and filing a case against the state of Israel in the High Court of Justice of Israel itself. I think it was the first case against the state of Israel filed in Jerusalem by the people of Bar'an. The resolution was in our favor. These are good people, they have to return back. The army opposed. A year later, the same people went back to that Supreme Court of Justice, Same resolution. These are peaceful people. They have the right to return. 1951, for the third time, they went to the Supreme Court of Justice. The same resolution was given to them. They are peaceful people. They have the right to go back home. We said we don't mind if the army would continue to oppose. We'll go back home. We have the resolution of the Supreme Court of Justice. We took our luggage from the nearby village where we became refugees and started going back home. It's a distance of 5 kilometers. When we were about to enter the village, we saw airplanes coming from we don't know where and started raining bombs, dynamite, explosives on our homes, on our church. This was a mainly Christian village. We stood there, we started crying like young babies. And we called that place the Bar'am People Wailing Wall. If you come to Abilene to visit me, I would be happy to go with you to see the Wailing Wall, but you will see me crying. My father was a strong believer in God and His church. He wanted by all means that one of his children becomes a priest. He sent my elder brother to seminary, but that boy stayed 3 months and said, I don't want that business. He escaped. Good for him. He made a very beautiful family. He's now 94 years old. He wanted by all means to communicate with his children who are living here in South Bend, with his daughter who's living in Switzerland. What can he do? We proposed him to learn computing. And he learned the computer. He learned Skype, apps, FaceTime. And he is continually speaking with his children at an age of 95 years old. My second brother threatened father to commit suicide if he would send him to seminary. He was not sentenced. My third brother escaped from home, crossed the Jordan River, and went to live with the Jewish Bedouins, with the Jordanian Bedouins. He did not want to come back home. Father discovered his whereabouts after 3 months, and he went to the Bedouins to tell them, I want my boy back. But the boy said, I will not go back with you, Father. You will send me to seminary. Unless you promise you will not send me to seminary, I will not go back with you. The poor father promised my brother he will not send him to seminary. My brother is the father of Camellia, who is sitting there. Stand up, Camellia, so to see. What thing? Says her father. Shukran. So who remained? The youngest, and I was the youngest. Father delivered me to the bishop. He took me with his car from Upper Galilee to Haifa, where I finished my elementary school education, then to Nazareth, where I finished my high school education, and he had to send me to higher seminary to study all those things that have to do with priesthood, to study Bible, to study sacraments, church history, Mariology, angelology, psychology, name it. We had our higher seminary in Jerusalem. It was already in the Jordanian side. In order for us to reach Jerusalem, we needed 2 visas. One from Jordan to be allowed to enter Jerusalem, and one from Israel in order to be allowed to exit from Jerusalem to Jordan. Both authorities responded almost the same thing. The Jordanians answered the bishop, we will never allow young Arabs already corrupted with Zionism to come and live in our country. I am corrupted with Zionism. And Israel answered, we'll never allow our Arabs, as you will say, our dog, our property, we'll never allow our Arabs to go live in Arab countries and come back corrupted with Arab mentality. We always fall in between the chairs. the bishop had to find a solution. He had either to send me to Rome or to Paris. And my bishop was very intelligent, very inspired. He decided to send me to Paris, not to Rome. It's not a secret, I don't like to study in Rome. And I spent 6 years in Paris. What did they not teach us? Everything in the Institut Catholique and in the Sorbonne. Everything that has to do with priesthood. Scripture, history, church history, sacraments, what else? Canon law, Mariology, angelology, everything. Name it for 6 long years. I can tell you a secret now between us. I thank God because I have forgotten everything. Everything flew away. I cannot forget 2 points only. The one, God is love. God does not kill. All the rest is commentary. I came back home 1965 and was ordained priest in Nazareth. 1 week later, the bishop said, Elias, you are a priest, you need a community now. I said, yeah, it's possible to be a priest. He said, I decided to send you to a village for 1 month. You go there and we will decide your final assignment after you spend that month in Galilee. Yes, sir. 24 years old and the bishop, very majestic personality. I could not argue with him anything. Yes, sir, yes, sir. I had with me a Volkswagen bag that I brought from Germany, a gift from a German family. I took my Volkswagen, started driving half hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, no ability. Suddenly I realized I was really lost. I went to the nearest gas station, asked those gentlemen, does any among you knows where Evelyn is? Only one person knew. He said, you are very far away now. You are closer to the Sea of Galilee. Evelyn is closer to Haifa. Exactly as the bishop said, take your car, it's very close to Haifa. You go spend 1 month in Evelyn. I turned back and I found Evelyn. It was a village of 3,500 inhabitants. No asphalted roads, no electricity, no telephone, water they received twice a week. I didn't mind. What I minded is to find where my home will be, where I will go to sleep. I was exhausted. I drove inside till I found that church. It's a room, 1/10 of that church here. In the middle of nowhere, few kids were playing around. I said, kids, do you know where is the residence of the priest? They laughed at me sarcastically and said, the priest has no place here. Okay, thank you. I said, these are kids. I'll wait till I see some adults. 3 old men were going together somewhere. I called across to them and said, do you know where is the residence of the priest, please? He said, Reverend, we know that the priest has no residence in this village. But we had a priest before me. He said, long ago, he used to come half hour before the celebration on Sunday. He would celebrate and disappear till the next week. We did not know where he lives. That was a moment of great decision for me. Do I need to continue in this business of priesthood? Or I better leave and go have a normal life? After the revolt of my mind, I came to say to myself, why do you react so negatively? Stay for 1 month. It's 30 days. After that, you will see the bishop and he will give you a better community. I did not know then what I know now by practice, that my bishop, like all bishops, have normally a very short memory. They forget so easily. And if they don't forget, they fake forgetting. And my bishop forgot me there. I waited 38 years to see that the end of that month come. I wanted to do something during that 1 month I was supposed to stay there. I can go visit families that will not cost money. And I started visiting the Muslim families first, those who nobody would go visit. And I was royally received by every family. To see the priest coming to them, they consider that as a big blessing. They offered me coffee, sweets, and I asked each family, if you have old books you don't need, please give them to me. I will repair them and I will distribute them to the young people, to the youth. Why the youth? Because I discovered that our community inside Israel is a very, very young one. 75% of our people were under 27 years old. 50% were under 14 years old. I said to myself in front of God, I will offer all my life to these 50% under 14 years old. Because our future with the neighbor Jews will depend on the quality of education we give our children. And we should give them the best education possible to face the Jews eye to eye without facing them as slaves to Lord or as superior to inferior. And I formed the first Arab public library. I used to go anywhere in Jerusalem, Nazareth, wherever there is a bookstore, to buy as many books as I have with the little money and bring to the library. I did not know that project was going to become the large library of the Mar Elias Educational Institutions, which did not yet exist. I lived in my Volkswagen the first month. I ended by living there 6 months. You don't need to pity me. I need no pity. You know why? It was comfortable in the Volkswagen. Simply because then I was not half of what I am now. I could fit in very, very easily. I would not sleep one night today in a Volkswagen bus. I have problems going inside. Then I said to myself, is it enough to collect books, distribute them and redistribute them? No, I will organize summer camps for our kids. I decided the first summer camp would be for a minimum 500 kids. That's a lot. But the first day of the summer camp, I was facing 1,127 kids. What to do? First come, first serve? How can I do that when I am a refugee who never went anywhere, first, second, or last? Everywhere I went was after the last. So I accepted all these children. We had 3 glorious weeks together. Each year would repeat the same thing with double amount of children till 1980. By then we became free to circulate among our villages. There was no more military regime on the Arab villages. The open prison became a free village. I sent my assistants to the villages to register children for the summer camp, and they came out with at least 5,000 children registered for the summer camp. I became very, very confused. What can I do? How can I feed 5 children without any money? How can I prepare sandwiches for them? How can I provide them with water? It became a puzzle for me. One evening, when I was sitting there after praying, the idea came to me, boy, why you forget that every one of these children has a very loving mother. Call the mothers for help. That meant I had to organize 30 meetings, one in each of the villages where from the children came. I did that for the mothers. I invited each group of mothers to send us 10 mothers a day. And here was young Abuna Chacour every morning with 300 most beautiful mothers coming around to prepare sandwiches and drinks for the children. They came. They did the miracle. God bless these mothers. They made the miracle so easy while drinking coffee, sipping coffee, while telling jokes, while singing, sometimes while dancing. They are beautiful mothers. You might be tempted to ask me whether I have such a beautiful, generous Christian community. Yes, my community is much more generous than whatever you think. But the mothers who came every day were not always Christians. Very often the majority was Muslims. Few days, all the mothers who came were only Muslims. That reminded me that we Christians, Presbyterians or others, we do not have the monopoly of doing good. The dime of the widow is much more important than the millions of the milliardaire. That reminded me that we Christians do not have the monopoly over the actions of the Holy Spirit. He is free. But that was the last summer camp I organized. Because the pressure from the village, the people say, we don't want you to summer camps, stop them. I said, why do you not want that? He said, what for they are good? You take care of our children for 3 weeks. The year is of 12 months. What about the 11 months plus who remains? Who will take care of our children? He said, what do you need? He said, we need you to build for us a high school. Oh, Mamma Mia. The high school is not a football game. It's much more complicated. But they were so convincing that I bought the idea. And I applied for a building permit. 3 weeks later, the answer came back, denied. You're not allowed to build. But I need a school. And it's vital for us to give best education to our children. I took that letter and said, what do you need in fact here? Do you need a building permit or you need a building? I decided I needed the building. The authority needs the building permit in order to stop us from doing anything good. So we started the construction without building permits and case sura. 3 months later, the police arrived. Show me your building permit, Mr. Chacour. I said, you know that I don't have a building permit. He said, yes, I know, but how can you build without building permit? I said, sir, I don't build with building permits. I build with sand, cement, steel, stone. He was very angry. He said, you don't do like that in a civilized country. I said, I wish you were civilized. If you were civilized enough, you would have given me a permit to build a school to educate our children. If I build without building permits, only in order to help you become a little bit more civilized. He was utterly angry. He could have killed me. He said, stop arguing. This building will be destroyed and you will go to prison. Okay, fine. He disappeared. 1 hour later, we resumed the work. We did not stop anything. 9 months later, the building was ready, built on stones. And we rang a bell that I bought in Birmingham, England. And I wanted always to ring that bell, but I could not ring it in Birmingham. I could not ring it on the bus or on the plane. I waited evening to ring it. And that morning I rang the bell. We had in front of us 82 children, aged 13, 14 years old. 4 teachers, 1 lady and 3 men. We started school without building permit. Let me jump 20 years ahead. I'm sure, I was the happiest man in Galilee because every morning I received 4,500 students. They came from 73,000 villages, from the faraway Negev to the northern border of Israel. The school was meant to be a Christian school, I don't hide that. Run with Christian thoughts, philosophy, run with the mastership of Jesus Christ. I wanted Jesus to be everywhere, in our heart, in our behavior. But I said to myself, how can I be so pretentious? How can I pretend being follower of Jesus Christ if I don't open my doors as I pretend my heart is open to all others. I needed to open my doors to the next neighbors, the Muslims, and they started streaming to the school. Now, this morning, there were 3,500 students, among whom there are 65% Muslim boys and girls. I love them. I respect them immensely. They are intelligent, ambitious, polite, and they want to study, they want to graduate, they want to do something with their life. So far we have graduated over 7,000 students. I was in the hospital in Haifa for surgery myocarditis. When I woke up in the arena, in the operation arena, I was astonished. There were 11 doctors surrounding me to see how I'm doing. Out of these 11, 9 were graduated from the school in Alighieri. I was happy but not satisfied. I wanted Jewish children to be with us. I wanted the Jews to know that we love them. We don't hate them. We just hate what they are doing to us. I spent the year 99 going from one Jewish village to another Jewish kibbutz, meeting with parents' committees and begging them to send their children to my school. I ended by having 80 children from 80 families wanting to come to my school. And imagine me standing there in the year 2000, the 1st of September, welcoming all these students. At the end, the big bus was coming up, loaded with Jewish children. When I saw that, I became very scared. What have I done? Did I bring the devil to my camp? How can I subdivide these Jewish children into small groups, into different classrooms with the Palestinians, 33 Palestinians in each classroom? Palestinians who are traumatized, who are hurting because their village was destroyed, their land was confiscated, they were reduced to nullities. They will just take these kids and just kill them, tear them into pieces. I was so scared. When the bus arrived, I ordered them to stay on the bus. I ordered 4 buses to come around. I loaded those buses with my Christian Muslim boys and girls. And then looked at the Jewish bus, said to myself, boy, these are your children now. Can you love them? I did not answer. I just saw myself going to the bus. Went inside the bus and said, my dear friends, you are welcome. I invite you to subdivide yourself into 4 groups and you will go in the 4 buses. You will spend the day on Mount Carmel in the fresh air. When you come in the evening, we will see what we can do. And they executed the order. The teachers accompanied them. They spent the day on Mount Carmel. And I was praying, what will I receive in the evening? How many will be hurt? How many will be persecuted? How many will be angry? How many will be etc.? And the buses stopped there, coming back, opened the doors. No one I saw going down the steps from the bus out. They all started jumping out like little monkeys. And it was very clear that they have forgotten that they are Jews and Palestinians. They discovered that they were just kids, or blessed just kids. They exchanged telephone, faxes, addresses. No email then, it was too early for them. And these boys stayed with us 4 years. And then we did not want to have any more. Because in the 9th grade that was okay. In the 10th grade, the Jewish boys and girls were ordered to leave the school 2 days a month for pre-military training. And the first military training course was you will have the privilege of becoming soldier to protect your countries against the terrorists surrounding us. And the boys asked, who are the terrorists? The teacher answered, all the Palestinians are terrorists. Imagine the boy who would have this brainwashing. The next day he will come to a school with 3,000 or 4,000 Palestinian kids. He will not find terrorists. In the 11th grade, it became much more difficult. 2 days a week, they should go for military training. It became impossible. We ended the 12th graders. They are still in relation with me. They come often to the school to visit us with so much affection and reverence. We kept the Jewish staff. We had 13 Jewish teachers. We love them. We respect them. They are teachers like all others, not teaching astronomy and physics. They teach fashion, sports, like all others. And they are still there. We love them. In 1986, I'll tell you a story that has to do with you Americans. 1986, we had one only building fit for maximum 350 students. But we registered that year over 750 students. I needed to expand. I decided to build a gymnasium with some workshops and a few more classrooms. And I applied for building permit. The answer was very clear. You will have your building permit this time. Your drawings are perfect. But bear with us. Our bureaucracy is so slow. I understood that their decision would be rather a political one rather than any technical one. I left them busy with their slow bureaucracy, and I got myself busy with fast construction. We laid the foundation, went up with the columns, and a year later we were pouring concrete on the platform of the gym when the police arrived and said, Mr. Chacour, you don't have a building permit. I said, you're right. He said, I'm coming in the name of the state of Israel. You have to stop immediately. If you add one more stone, you will go to jail. Okay, sir. He disappeared. We stopped the building. We started digging underground rooms in the rock. And we dug 3 big classrooms. They are still there. Simply because I was convinced that I had to do everything possible and impossible to provide facilities for my children to have the best education possible. We dug 3 big classrooms under the rock, and at the same time, I started knocking on the doors of every Israeli that I know I heard of. Nobody refused to listen to me. But no one moved a finger to him. I realized that I'm no more in the promised land as much as in the land of promises. Empty promises, but promises. 6 years I knocked on hundreds of doors without any result, without any light for the future. I got completely depressed. I lost hope. I will end by going to jail. Because till I became Archbishop, I was 37 times in court, always for building permit. I'm sorry. I believed in the power of prayer. I prayed the Lord a lot. I say to the Lord, if you mean to provide education for these children of Galilee, you have to help me, O Lord. One day I was sitting there very sad when a brilliant idea came to my mind. Why do you forget, boy, that the shortest way to reach the heart of Jerusalem passes by a city called Washington, D.C. Go to Washington, D.C. and try to do something. I bought a flight ticket and landed at National Airport in Washington, D.C. You know that better than I, Washington Airport, National Airport, is not in the vicinity of Washington, it's in the center of Washington. I landed there and I rented a car and decided to